Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Archelon here. I haven't done a video in a while, so I figured I'd do a quick video here, kind of an update slash Q&A, trying to get everyone caught up to speed with what's going on. Not much, really. Not that I've quit playing games or quit playing Ion specifically, it's just recently I haven't been able to get into it, not as focused as I would like to be. And that's to no one's fault, you know, the server that I was on was great server with a lot of great people. It's just I needed something different, so I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. That being said, the reason why I haven't been uploading as many videos as I would opposed to Ion is because on Ion I feel like I'm more comfortable talking about things. Sure, I get the occasional troll, but I mean, it's an online game. If you can't handle the trolls, then, you know, don't play online games, because pretty much everyone's gonna troll you in these games. Anyway, that being said, Final Fantasy have not been uploading videos because I want to get better used to the system, better used to the combat and all that stuff. So I'm going to be talking more about that in a few days here, things you can do, and pretty much just explain what Final Fantasy is. I'll probably have a separate video for that. That being said, it's just time for me, I feel, to not so much move on from Ion, but also kind of broaden my horizon a bit. You know, I know there are lots of games out there, lots of games that have support for, you know, MMOs that use, you know, cross-platform play with controllers, keyboard, mouse, stuff like that. I'm kind of leaning more towards those type of gameplay. That being said, there are also games that I would like to try, like Blade and Soul whenever that comes out, Bless, and obviously Black Desert. But for now, Final Fantasy is where it's at, and I'm having a lot of fun. It really is a fun game from what I've experienced. I found a great FC and the guys that I hang around with, and, you know, some people have followed me to Final Fantasy from Ion and World of Warcraft, you know, and, you know, we're all having a blast. Okay, so that was my little explanation as to why I haven't been uploading videos. I've just been having a lot of fun. That's really all it is. I'm trying to complete a hunt mark right now, if I can find where the mob is. So, pretty sure I'm at the right location. There it is. Alright, so the first question I want to talk about, I get this a lot in my inbox. And this is because the internet's so bad. People would usually leave comments, or I'm usually telling people, hey, if you have a question, just leave it in the comments. But a lot of people question whether or not it's viable to click as opposed to using keybinds. Well, I'll tell you what. On Ion, it may have been a little bit faster to click, but not every game is like that. For example, Final Fantasy. If you're clicking in Final Fantasy, yeah, I mean, you'll be able to activate your skills. I just happen to have a Naga, which lets me do both. The problem with clicking, obviously, is you're not as fast. So in your head, or as people would like to assume, in your head, you're thinking of what skill to use next, where to, you know, target your character, and at the same time, there's just a lot going on in the background that you usually wouldn't have to deal with. Also, for games like Ion, where there's a lot of PvP, it's probably best not to have all that going on and just focus on things like, you know, the target, or the players, the opposing players' hit points, their buffs, things that need to keep your eye on screen, so you don't need to worry about what your skills are and stuff like that. Well, that's great. For games like, I said, PvP-focused games like, I don't know, Terra and Ion and stuff like that, keybinds can work because those games don't really have a global cooldown. Games like Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft, it's a little bit different. That being said, this doesn't mean to use keybinds for Ion or Terra or stuff like that. I've always been a clicker. I just feel more comfortable clicking. You have to find your median, you know, what you feel more comfortable doing. So as far as that question is concerned, I feel it's all up to you. I have seen people, and I'll probably link a video in the description to this one, where I see someone just click way faster than anyone could ever use their fingers on their keyboard. I mean, I know people type words per minute, but when you're playing a game, it's different. You know, you can hit your keyboard faster than, you know, your brain can think of what you're gonna do next while looking at your character. It's just, there's a limit to certain things you can do. If people tell you there isn't, then, you know, call BS on that, be the bigger person, and just walk away from the conversation. They don't care about how you play, and they're not gonna care about how you play. They just care about proving themselves, right? Which is fine, you know, to each their own, but are those the type of people you really want to be taking advice from? I mean, I take all forms of criticism, you know, sometimes it can be harsh, but sometimes it's needed. I don't want to say that I'm the best at anything, but I do want to say that I try, you know. I would rather be in a group setup or with a group of people that I know will be trying their 100% to get something done, as opposed to a group of people that, you know, just go in there with the mindset that they are the best, and if anything goes wrong, it's someone else's fault besides their own. You can start thinking that way after you've, for example, been playing Ion for multiple years or Terra for multiple years, and you know what you're doing. You feel more, you have that confidence, right? That being said, some people don't have that. They play a game for a month or two, or they've been playing it for, half of a year, and they just automatically assume the fault is with everyone else but themselves. Confidence is good. Overconfidence becomes complacency, and that's just wrong. You should never become complacent. You should never become too arrogant or too above, I guess, reproach when it comes to things. Okay. So, like I said, clicking versus keybinds, personal opinion, it doesn't matter. Certain games will have the clear advantage. Games that definitely don't require or don't use an upload cooldown. I've played in PvP on Final Fantasy. I'll actually upload a video here in a few days of what that looks like. And you see a lot of the time I'm clicking when I activate my skills, and I'll be faster than most of the people that I encounter. Like, remember, this is all because the game has a global cooldown for its skills. Games like Ion, where you can macro skills, it'll be a little bit different. Alright, so next question, or another question I've been getting a lot is, oh, what system specs do you have, and how do you get the game to run so smoothly? There's actually a way, I mean, I say this sighingly, but there's actually a way to check if your system can handle the game at the maximum settings or not, and that's the benchmark, and I've been using that a lot. I run the benchmark, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, more than most people should, because I get this question a lot. What are the benchmark settings? What can I do to increase my score? Stuff like that. So my setup is Alienware 18. Yes, I'm sure the comment section is going to be raging here in a few seconds, but an Alienware 18 with 2 780Ms in SLI. So it's a laptop with 2 very powerful, as far as I'm concerned, notebook cards. So that being said, you can always look up online, download the benchmark, run your benchmark on your system to get your performance score, and then you can tweak it a bit. Now, by tweaking it a bit, I mean you can really get some different numbers if you know what you're doing. Okay, so what did I do to increase my numbers? I think the first benchmark I ran, I got something like 9,990. It was pretty much in the 900. I didn't break 10K. I was all happy about it. I posted about it. I believe at the time a desktop 780 was getting 10K or close to 10.1, 10.2K or something like that. Now when I run my benchmark, I get 10.2K steady. 10.1 on the off, like sometimes I'll get 10.1, but most of the time I end up getting 10.2. I've come really close to 10.3, but I haven't really broken. I think the highest I ever scored was 10.294, so 10,294. What I did is, honestly, and this is being extreme, I ran my system in diagnostic mode. What a lot of people won't tell you is what they're doing to get their scores. And, more power to them. But don't get yourself, or don't beat yourself up because you're not getting the score someone else is getting on your system. You don't know what they're doing to get those scores. Now, there are some people out there, obviously, don't take my word for it, but there are some people out there that legitimately run their systems overclocked as well. I mean, if you're comfortable overclocking, if it's a desktop card, go for it. If it's a notebook, I would not recommend it because the hardware has a warranty on it, and if you overclock, that warranty is pretty much shot, right? Unless you have some really great customer support like HP or something, and they can overlook that, or some really dumb customer support and they have no idea what's going on, and they, again, so notebooks, please do not overclock. Run your system in diagnostic mode. If you run your system in diagnostic mode and you then notice that, hey, my frames or my average score is higher than what it was in the benchmark when I ran it while logged into Windows normally, then you know there's something wrong. Then you know there's something bogging down your performance. This is what I did. The first time I ran the benchmark, I got 9,900 average. Then I ran it in diagnostic and I got 10,200. So I went back into regular Windows and I started disabling things that I didn't really care about, things that I didn't need to run on startup, and just things that would always pop up in my little task manager at the bottom side of my task list at the bottom side of the screen, bottom right hand side, if you're using the default setup. So I went over there. I noticed things like, for my printer, my software would always boot up when I started up. Intel Rapid Start, which is supposed to give you warnings for when your battery is low and, help boot the computer faster, stuff like that. I installed all of that. I uninstalled all of that. Things like Ion has a really weird bug. I don't know if they're ever going to fix this, but there's a weird bug where if you boot the game, or not even booting the game, if you start up the game, there's a chance that it'll leave a background app running, which is supposed to help download future patches. But Ion's patches are so few and far between, it doesn't make any sense to have that running. But, it's there as a feature to, I turned that off. Little programs like that don't really have much of an impact on their own. But when your computer's trying to run, say, 10 of them all at once, in the background, while you're running a benchmark, yeah, your CPU is not going to be giving all the processing power to the application. And you want to give as much processing power to the application as possible. That being said, when you get a score, I would usually add or subtract 5% from that score. So whatever score you get, unless you're running multiple tests, if you just run one test, add and subtract 5% to that. So my 10,200, I think I can get 10,300. On a good day, I'm pretty sure my system can push 10,300. If you're getting 900, or sorry, not 900, 9,000, on a good day, I'm pretty sure your system could probably push 10K. On a good day, not overclocked, right? So it's just something to keep in mind when you're doing these tests. Another thing to keep in mind is when you are trying to get the best performance possible, there are applications you can use, like I think it's a Game Booster. I think it's owned by Razer now, or something like that. You can download those apps that will intelligently run when you are running a game or an application that requires your 3D rendering. I mean, it's not the best. You can have crashes depending on what it shuts off, but you can always customize that. Games like, Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy usually have one big packet file that holds all the data, and it just keeps reading off of that. So it can help for games like that. Another thing you can do is, it's a myth out there, but it does help, especially for benchmarks, is load time. So if you have an SSD, put the benchmark on an SSD, run it, then put the benchmark on a HD drive, run that. If your numbers are close to the same, then you know that for sure the data storage is not the problem. Alright, that's all for now, guys. Those are the only two questions I really had in my inbox. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave it in the inbox and I will. Alright, thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day.